that this panel have a vast experience in different sectors. So I would like to ask my panelists to introduce themselves so that audience can also know about your experiences. Moin Saab, we will start with you.
Uh, okay, my name is Moin Balkhi. I am heading the IT and OT section of Pakistan State Oil for the last about 10, 12, 13 years, the IT function. And uh, I am a past graduate, did my MBA from IVA and subsequently MS from EAT. So I'm also a certified professional in different disciplines of SAP and Oracle.
Noman, you're on mute.
Sorry, Mr. Hafiz.
Yeah, so my name is Hafeezul Hassan Shah. I'm a CIO at Sapphire Finishing Mills Limited. I have been with this organization for the last couple of years. Before that, I worked with ICA Pakistan Limited. I was heading their IT operations. And then I have like more than 15 years of experience in Middle East and North Africa, working with different organizations, helping their digital transformation projects as a project director or project program manager. Um, I did my executive MBA from LUMS. So yeah, Ali, please, if you can introduce. You're on mute, Ali.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Ali Awan. I am working with Anna in Batla Industries. Just last year completed SAP RISE implementation for the three companies. Now I am working with the SAC project and also the bank integration, which is almost completed. So this is what. And secondly, I have about 28 years of experience in the industry, locally and internationally, for the software development and ERP implementation, which includes SAP multiple implementations, Microsoft Dynamics multiple implementations, Oracle one implementation, and Salesforce two implementations, Microsoft CRM two implementations. So I have multiple implementation experience in addition to the software development experience as well. So project management, I have multiple certifications with respect to the SAP project management, Salesforce. So uh, this is, and I did my master's in software engineering, then did my MS MPhil in software engineering as well. I am PhD in Islamic banking and finance as well. So diversified experience in multiple industries. In addition to this, I am working as a CEO of ALIDC, which is providing multiple services to industries. So, and this is a small brief about myself. And by heart, I am a trainer. So I love to train people and coach them, help them. So this is what. Thank you.
Noman, if you can please unmute yourself.
Mohammad Ali Saab, we start with you. And if you can tell the audience what is big data.
Okay. So for the big data, that means that you have a large amount of data that is used for the analytics. So that means not a small data. So this is the means a small definition about big data, and however it could be enhanced or elaborated as well by the other factors which we will discuss today, inshallah.
Okay. So, broadly speaking, how did you implement big data in your own organization, and what sort of analysis you derived out of it?
For the for any such assignment, what we have to do, the most of the people do not think of that. Number one is that you should have a very clear, defined goal that what you want to achieve. That is very important. And means in my own experience, I have seen that the people who do not have the clear vision, they end up with the within a statement that we have not achieved what we want. So they had not defined the vision for the startup. Number one. So number one is the, the people must have the defined or clear vision. Second one is that the quality of the data, that is how accurate, reliable data is. So this is the second one that the people should understand the quality of the data, because garbage in, garbage out. So this is very clear. And third one is scalability, that the people do not think that where do they want to land. I'll give you one small example that a tool with SAP. There are many tools available in the market that provides the BI. However, if the organization wants to steps up, so obviously that organization should see that what they want extra. Because if we go to implement the Power BI that have the capability of BI, business intelligence. However, if we go with the SAP tool, so that have the BI, business intelligence, as well as planning as well. So it means that the organization should set up a strategy that how they want to scale up. So that is scalability is another factor. And third one is fourth one, sorry, that is the involvement of multiple departments. I have seen that some of the departments, I give an random name, let's say finance department, that says that we have our dashboard available. We print, we have the analytics available. So that organization should have the entire view, not only the one department. So multiple departments should be involved in this process so that our clarity and the complete picture should be available. So this is very important. Sales, planning, quality, procurement, supply chain, that is, so finance, every department should be. So it is not one department's effort or one department's analytics. It is the holistic view of the organization that is there. And the last but not the least, that the data availability and the accessibility. How easy it is to get the data. Either we have to get the raw data and then perform the ETL on that, or we have a process to automatically clean up the data and automatically push into the server. So these are the some of the factors that we must consider. And the third one, another factor is that the people should be trained accordingly, and enough resources should be there. So these are the factors that means I suggest that people should must think. This is what.
Very well said, because from data capturing to organizing to looking at the velocity to seeing structured and unstructured data, and then obviously what decision needs are required, you have captured almost everything. Please tell us your experience, how you implemented big data in your own organization.
in our own organization and in the other organization, the steps are the same. And one of another factor that is very important to us that the people do not think initially, that is the data entry. If the data is not available on the real time, you cannot produce the real time dashboards, or you cannot perform the real time analytics. So that is very important as well, in addition to all of the aspects which I have already defined. So how it, because let's say, as an example, if I give you an example of production department, that the how much production was done today or at this point in time, I cannot tell. Only how that is possible if I have the data available with me. And how that data would be available. So there are multiple ways for that. Number one is that the enough staffing to enter the data on the real time, and second, that they make the people aware that if the data is not available, then we cannot gauge the performance. So because I have seen that the people enter the data after their work hours and sitting, let's say for half an hour, so they make all of the data entry at that time. So this is very important that the people should enter the data real time. One of my another consulting assignment which I had done with a textile company, there the quality data was not being entered, and that was manually written on the paper. So I believe that which I have seen that nobody damn care about that data because that was on the paper, and people were unable to read that data as well. So what we make a small process of real time tab. We introduce tab and install develop an application app, and the real time they could be able to enter the data by just by clicking that we have that was a manufacturing company, that was a textile. They were making the jeans. So that jeans was prepared in 3 steps. So one of the step, so they check that the quality of the front, quality of the back, and then the quality of stitching of the complete pant. So at that point in time, each of the checker had the tablet installed with him.
I guess we have lost Mohammad Ali Awan Saab. I guess there's an internet issue. So, Moin Saab, basically, you're
he
from a.
he
Acha,
checked
yes.
that and just marked the click that yes, this is okay, or this is not okay, and it has this bug, this bug, this bug. So that is the real time that the owner and the production department head has the real time visibility that the data, how much pieces have been made, and what is the rate of the quality. So that could be gauged real time. So these are the things which could be very important. That number one, data is available, and based on the data, uh, means data availability. There are two ways normally. Number one is manual entry, and the second one is the any semi-manual entry that could be integrated. And third one is which I did in this organization. That is the real-time integration of SAP and the secondary sales system. So secondary sales
Wonderful.
system, we have the sales flow, that is, and there the distributor lock their primary requirement, and by that, as they log their requirement and the sales manager approves that requirement, that is automatically moved into SAP, and both of the systems are on different clouds. One SAP is on Microsoft Azure, and the other one is on AWS. So that is on the real-time connectivity, that the sales order in SAP is automatically created, and after that sales order and the approval cycle, and next the when the delivery is available, and we dispatch the delivery from here from our organization to the distributor at the time when they issue. They do in SAP term, we do the PGI, that is post good issuance. So when we stock out from our factory, that is automatically moves the data from SAP on the real time to the secondary sales system on sales flow. So distributor has the real time visibility, and our organization as well, that the what is the stock availability and how much is moved out. And second, the distributor has the real time visibility that the this data is on dispatch. So these are the mechanism which basically if we do that, that
Thank
is
you
what.
very much, Muhammad Ali Saab. You have explained it in detail, and the most important aspect is the integration and data fetching, and I think you explained it in a very detailed manner. So, Moin Saab, uh, please tell us the challenges that Pakistan may face in implementing, different companies in Pakistan. How, what would be the challenges for big data, and how it will impact on decision making? And if you can give us some example from your organization, that would be even better.
Yeah, thank you. Uh, First and for all is the importance of big data recognition, understanding that has to be disseminated. Otherwise, it's very hard for any person to understand the importance in the organization unless it's trained and it identifies that why big data is so important. Second is the storage and uh, and the selection of the right tools for accessing the big data, defining the goals, why the big data would be used, and accordingly design selection of those rules, feasibility, and this is how we did an exercise. PSO has multiple sources of data, like some are coming from IoT devices, some are coming from different systems, some are coming from ERP also. We are running ERP for last 20 years, so that data is also has become a big data. Some as has to be processed, the ETL process. Some does not require ETL process. These all these data have to be related. So we need algorithms, not AI, but good BI algorithms to formulate relationships and give meaningful information. So that this was done in PSO. We are using ClickSense as a BI tool, and we have SAP. We've got other sources of IoT that we collect data. So we're using SAP HANA as database, and we've got also Oracle, but we are not using any open source database for big data at present.
Wonderful, very well said. Thank you very much. But can you please walk us through the integration process that you adopted? Because I believe you already have IoT devices on one hand, you're applying AI, and also implementing big data. So
Uh,
that is a very tough ask. So what was the correlation between the three, and how it benefited you by
so
implementing IoT in your
so
organization?
uh, IoT, as we said earlier, also IoT is supplementing big data. What IoT data that we are collecting from multiple sources, it supplements, like the ERP tells us what happened, and the IoT tells us that why it happened, how it happened, and the reasonings. So we have to amalgamate both of them. So the ERP data and the IoT data. And for that, we have written algorithms of Python. These data, intermingle them, remove the outliers, and do some regression analysis also on this data, and produce a meaningful data that can be used for future predictions, and for administration purpose also, or planning purposes also. So what happens is we collect the data from multiple sources. We develop different models. We've got used Python, and then we run the algorithms. This is how we do it.
Wonderful. But can you just tell us what were the benefits that you got out of implementing big data and which was supported by IoT and AI?
Uh, as I said, ERP only tells about the history of past transaction. It does not give reasoning of the actual, because as we get big data from IoT devices, it's real. It's a real feed coming from different devices. That gives us the reason why what's happening actually happening and why it's happening. So that intelligence doesn't come from historical data. It only comes when we use and create algorithms that give us we what we do is we develop algorithms for different purposes of analyzing the data and giving up results, and this is how we are using it.
We just want a example that help you increase your ROI in your own organization because you have all the three
I
things at
can
one
just help
place.
you, like I can give you my retail sales example. Before, we didn't know the timing of the. We used to make bulk sales to a fuel station, and we didn't know how the sales pattern was. Or how, when will he reorder? When will he? When is the best time to send the tank lorry to him? So all that data, when it was IoT data started to coming in, we started relating that data with our SAP data, so that we could supplement it, and then better plan and better predict what's going to happen, how to manage that. Because as you know, it's the whole cycle starts. It affects the logistics operations, it affects the transport operations, it affects the inventory also, it affects the sales. So all these four, and in finance also, because the product is very expensive now, and because of the dollar depreciation, it has to be well planned. So everything has to be gelled in, and through these algorithms, we made better use case out of it, and we are now better planning, better servicing our dealers, better servicing our customers. So this is how, using by building relationships in the big data, how to better service our customers, and better administer our products all over Pakistan.
Wonderful, because you see, I guess this is where the nation needs it. It adds value to the economy also, because all these analysis at national level, especially for PSO, is not only for PSO only, it's also for the nation itself because the fuel prices and their adjustments. I'm sure your data is helping them to take certain decisions at a certain point in time. So thank you very much, Moin Saab. Over to Hafeez Saab. Mr. Hafeez, can you tell us about what is the importance of governance and how it impacts on the data?
Yes. Thank you very much, Noman. Uh, I think yes, governance is very much important. I mean, like any any technology project, especially governance model, or the people should be in place there, because when you talk about data, I think one of the important factor is knowing about the data privacy as well, because we are talking about large data, we are talking
True.
about big data. The data is coming from different sources, so it is not only your ERP like SAP or Oracle. You are getting data from your website, you are getting data from your social media, from through this different feeds, right? So I think the compli to in order to implement the data protection regulation and compliance, I think a proper governance model need to be implemented in the organization. So actually, I'm a big I'm always in a big favor of thinking big, start small, and learn fast, right? So this always help to do your projects in pilots, and in this way, the cost of failure is a little. I think to protect the data, even I don't mind. They need to designate a data protection officer in the organization who can oversee the data protection practices, and he ensures the compliant and the handling of data from employees and the customers as well. This governance model that any company will implement will also ensure that like one of the challenges I think Muhammad Ali mentioned was the awareness of the employee. I think like we have the challenges in terms of information security and cyber security, the easiest target is always the employee. The same applies to the big data as well, I believe, because he is sometimes the employees are the custodian of the data, sometimes they are the owner of the data. So I think the culture of data privacy should be developed in the organization.
So, if you can just walk us through the experience that you had while implementing big data and what were the benefits you achieved out of it for your own organization.
Yeah. So, in our organization, we are running ERP. Actually, there are two in parallel. We are still on Oracle and in the process of rolling out SAP S4 HANA with fashion vertical business. But then we have many other business applications, especially the manufacturing execution softwares. So the one of the key challenges, in our fabric processing industry is that you have different sources of energy. So, for example, I think one of the key challenge was to understand or to estimate even the cost of steam that you are plugging into the production of the fabric. So for that, we implemented one MES system. I think we took from Belgium, and then we integrate that with the Oracle ERP, right? So for that, we implement some flow meters who record the amount of the steam that is get being injecting into production, and using that integration, that help us to understand now much better the cost allocation of energy to our finished good. So in this way, we I think achieve a much more efficiency.
Wonderful. So, if you can just tell us what was the vision behind implementing big data in your own organization, and how much time did it take for you? And did you had the kind of manpower required to implement big data?
Well, actually, when you talk about manpower, and especially in Pakistan, I believe that you know one of the challenges is we don't like to hire much. We try as much as we use the existing employees. Either it is a ERP implementation or even data. I think one of my colleagues, he mentioned that. you know, people, they are entering the data in after hours, after working hours, I mean. So I think this is the problem. And yes, we faced a bit of challenges, but I think it's all about discussing. And luckily, I was able to convince my management of dedicated some people, in particular, to work on this assignment. And yes, one of the key challenges, which is I think overall, is we all talk about being agile, right? Now, data is also evolving like other technologies, right? And I think nowadays it is very crucial that some organization need to have the flexibility. uh, but yes, we were able to improve that, at least in our organization. And I think at the end it was a teamwork where we engage basically different departments. We identify data champions, right? Who help, not only help in data preparation, but also giving us the right insights, which help us to design better dashboards for them. I think in terms of ensuring the quality, it is not only the IT department job. I think you need to identify people from business departments who will take ownership of this and work with you to make this a success.
So, thank you very much. What was the ROI after implementing big data? I mean, in your own organization, because the vision was to have data accuracy and real-time data to make decisions. So, because I believe there's a huge cost involved in setting up, gathering data and then putting it into analysis.
I think the ROI, if you will ask from me, so the yield is much better now. Okay. So in terms of when you are processing the fabric for any large scale organization, you got orders like in hundreds of thousands of meters of fabric, right? So efficiency was the main target, that we need to bring efficiency in our production. That will give us more better yield. So we were able to achieve it. And even this is I think we are not stopping here. We are still working on it. We are still working on a system which will help us in fault, the optimization and the fault mapping of the fabric. This will also further add a lot of value to our yield, because nowadays, in a traditional way, if you are not focusing or on the data and the optimization of data, I think a lot of wastage in terms of cutting the fabric is being there in the industry. So we are also working on this. Our vision is to even achieve, I think, by only implementing fault mapping and optimization system, we will at least achieve 2% more yield.
Wow, that's that's fabulous. Thank you very much, Mr. Hafeez. Coming back to Mr. Ali, just tell us, because also you have also implemented something similar. So, how did you manage cost, and as you progress, was the cost reduced or it remained the same, or what were the other challenges that you faced in terms of talent acquisition? Sir, you are on mute. So,
Okay. So for the talent acquisition, what we have done multiple things. Number one, that we hire resources. Number one, and second, we partnered with the vendors as well. So this is the aspect that covers everything. And second one is that the things which are normally lies at ITN, we have given those things to the business users as well. So here, because that is their job, uh, some of the time is analytics, or that is the not related to the core technical work. So here we cover things through this way.
Okay. So, I mean, was the pattern similar when you went on real-time basis, or was there any difference? And if there was, how did you cope up with that challenge?
Uh, I could not understand what you want.
Basically, once you have all the data with you, so there's a massive data, and sometimes what happens is that, let's suppose if there is a mistake at some end, how do you detect?
Okay, so for that reason, uh, we develop some of the processes through which the data cleansing was a part of that. And secondly, that the data which we are using primarily, that is from our core system, that is not from any other system. So from the core system, that data is most of the time is reliable. So for the secondary system, so what we have done for their system, we had challenges with them as well. Let's say, for instance, we had some of the challenges with the banking system. So that was unfortunately was not accurate. So what we have done, we have performed multiple testings, multiple test cases. So we had not make them live until those issues or things were rectified.
Wonderful. Moin Saab, did you use digital marketing trends or the data for your analysis?
Yes, we did use it, and we have some formal organizations like there's a oil OCSC by the name of companies. These companies also provide data of the industry. So with our data, we combine the data with the industry, and then we are able to predict better with the industrial trends also. So
One,
we also use Reuters and other subs, so those also come in and supplement, and we use the industrial trends along with our data to predict how the industry would be after 3 months, 2 months, because there is a lot of volatility in the industry, and through big data and different feeds, we are able to predict better.
okay, because you are from the oil industry and it's very sensitive. So, what do you think? Do you think that the amendment is needed in terms of regulatory compliances, or you think they are sufficient, or what would you
I
suggest?
think it would be better to deregulate the industry rather than regulate the industry, because in current industry there are too much fluctuations, and regulation is unfortunately bringing loss to the industry as a whole. So once it's deregulated, this decision would lie with the organizations themselves, and they could make better decisions, and hopefully can reduce the prices also through deregulation, and better manage the inventory also. So through regulation, I think it's not helping very much. Deregulation would help us more.
One. So, thank you very much, Moin Saab. Hafiz Saab, if you can, walk us through the challenges in terms of the implementation of the data. I mean, was it easy, and did you have to, differentiate between data, or the data that you needed was already there? Because with our panelists, what we have discussed is that most of you guys are either using a sophisticated ERP. So, do you think a sophisticated ERP is essential for big data, or you can do without it as well?
Well, yes, I think uh, it was a journey, because I think the very first thing was to identify the key data resources, right? Yes, no doubt for most of the companies, their most important data is available in ERP system, right? So even small or medium or large organizations, based on their budget, they acquire any ERP that suits them. So and especially when we talk about decision making, somehow it moves around the financial numbers. So when we talk about finance, definitely it depends a lot in the on the ERP system. So yes, it is important, but I think there was challenges with us as well, because as to how to I think the very first challenge was how to centralize the master data management itself, because
True.
the quality of data is very important, right? In data, I think duplication in terms of different departments working with, for example, if I would like to quote, working with the same vendor, and if they are not, for example, centralizing the creation of a vendor, then every department or different plants, they were opening their vendors, but at the end he was the same one, the vendor. So, and also sometimes the material master creation, so sales, and there is always been sales and procurement, right? The duplication of the material creation, and the especially the if it is not a regular, it is not centralized, then usually the mistakes are happening in terms of following a specific naming convention. So I think even as an IT department, if we were able to, I can bring the best technologies stack, right? Whatever, for example, I think most of the presentation layer tools like MS, Power BI, Click, or SAP, and different other available in the market, more or less they are providing the same sort of functionalities, right? So as a technology, we are enablers. We enable our organization, right, to implement these tools, and then also at the back end, developing a data warehouse from in which we can pull and push different sort of data from ERP or non-ERP or online platforms, right? But at the end, it is the quality of the information, and it was the same challenge here, that not only here, I think in even my previous experience in multiple organization, I think no, this is something that organizations are concerned, but they are not actually executing it in a way that the data quality can be ensured. So I think it is the key. And then the data, the decision making, there should be a culture in the organization. If you want people, if you have implemented tools, you have normalized the data, and everything is fine, but if people are not using it, then there is no benefit out of it.
True.
So building a culture where the managers, they will only be looking into the dashboards or analytics to make their day-to-day decisions, then there is no benefit. I mean, in many organizations I work with, so we develop different reports, we develop different dashboards, but the people at the end, they were asking from their subordinate to just prepare something on Excel, bring to him, and he was just analyzing and playing with that data. So the culture, being a, for example, if I give a very simple example, if I'm a manager, I should not accept any paper-based reports. I should not accept any Excel-based a report, because it will then restrict the concern to enter the data into the system, right? And then only that, if I will be able to extract a report or look into a dashboard that is based on the information available in the system. This way, I think we can streamline all these data related challenges. So culture is very important.
Very true. So we have summarized, I mean, the entire life cycle of big data analytics in terms of data, in terms of governance, in terms of security, in terms of output, in terms of team, in terms of responsibility metrics. So now I have a simple question from all three of you because it is for the young guns because most of them are now joining the bandwagon. So, what would you suggest? Which courses, if they are interested in big data, what they should do in order to excel in their careers? I'm starting with Muhammad Ali Saab and then over to Moin Saab and then Mr. Hafeez.
So for the big data, if the new ones are joining the board, then there are multiple platforms. Let's say if and multiple generic courses available as well. But however, I would suggest that they should go with some tool that they will be able to practically perform the activity as well and also work with the data as well. Because on the some of the time when the people work with the data or the theoretical course only, they get bored and they get rid of that. So therefore, I would suggest that they opt for any tool and courses. That would be.
G, no, I know that's true. That's a real life experience, and you can jump onto it and learn from it. What about? I mean, Mr. Moin, over to you.
Like I would agree that they should know the tool very well. That would help them a lot. But now, like big data, it has been there for some time now. Like I'd say about 5 6 years, it has been present, and it has been. It's not a new thing. So now the new thing that is coming over in big data is you have to supplement it by machine learning and artificial intelligence. So if you know big data, that would be the starting of your career, but you should move in towards machine learning and artificial intelligence also. Then it would be a full path career also, and it would be a multi-role career, and it will help you a lot because uh, the- because to be with the times are changing, and these things are coming very fast now. So the areas of machine learning and artificial intelligence is highly related to big data, and it supplements big data. So I agree with the tool. They should also come learn skills of machine learning and artificial intelligence also.
Yes, Mr. Hafiz. Thank you very much, Mr. Moin.
Yeah, I think it lot much depends. I mean, in which type of industry or the environment you are. So, for example, if you talk about business applications, if you talk about ERPs, then there is a different set of analytics tools. But if you talk about web, if you talk about some online platforms, I think then Google Analytics is Google Analytics is very powerful. Someone need if he is related to online industry like e-commerce, I think he must go for it. But if you talk about then ERPs, then each ERP has its different analytics tools as well. So if I'm into SAP, I'll be going for SAC, for example, at the moment. The same applies to Oracle and Microsoft as well. But I think the most important thing is now uh, anyone who is coming to this data world, I think he should focus on the predictive analytics, because now I think most of the organizations, even in Pakistan, they have set up their basics. Now I think one of the very important question that you were asking, that the bringing the ROI in front of management, right, and showing the real value, right. So I think this should not stop just consolidating different data from different sources into one dashboard. But now I think we should uh, help management with the predictive analytics. And I think I totally agree with Moin that the AI is the future, right? So in terms of learning different tool, I think Python is good. I think a lot of people are using it now even. So if someone is interested, he should go for it.
Thank you very much. So basically, students or whoever are willing to, start their career in this direction, they should learn about big data fundamentals, basic programming languages, data management. Hadoop and Spark are also popular big data frameworks which are available online, and you can learn real life experiences and visualization. Data visualization is also an important aspect which our panelists have suggested. Also, before getting into high level details, you need to learn the basics, and especially computing, be it cloud computing or otherwise. And of course, data ethics and privacy. These are some of the most important aspects before you even jump into it, because each area has its own importance while you're working on big data. Because just like the panelist just explained, any data which is duplicated or it's incorrect can lead to wrong direction, and can also create havoc in terms of decision making. So these are some of the areas, and I hope the audience have benefited from the panelist experiences. All three of them have real life experience of implementing not only big data, but along with that, they have implemented AI and they are working on different tools. Plus, they have a team, project champions. So, project champion in big data is very important, because if you do not have project champions or data champions, there is every likelihood that your data may not divert you or help you take important and strategic decisions. So I think with this we will try and conclude our session. But before that, if there's anything that you all three of you would like to give message to the audience, then I'll be grateful. And after that, we'll conclude our session. So we again start with Muhammad Ali Saab.
So for the audience, I would say that the consistency is very important, and the hard work is also very important. If you're talking about the people who are joining the race, so for them this is very important. And for the organizations, that there should be the readiness and the willingness to move into the direction. That is very important, because if we want the analytics, then we had, as I mentioned, that the clear vision, size of the data, that is also very important, because most of the time people use select static. That is very common. So select static means you cannot put all of the data, because the sensitivity of the data is very important nowadays. So what we require, that data should be there. And an important thing is that we should secure the data as well, because our DBA, our lower staff of the IT support staff, that has the access to all of the entire data. That is very sensitive. That could be a financial data, that could be a business data as well. So because they have the entire backup with them, and they can restore to any server or anywhere. And then we should have the data breach plan as well. That if there is any data breach, so we should have a breach response plan as well. So impact analysis, that should be there. Vendor management, that means that the normally what we do in Pakistan, we do not we normally trust people. So that is very good. But actually, for if we are going to share any sensitive data, that should be shared with any MOU, and that MOU should be maintained as well, because normally our project, when we complete our project, we damn care about anything left with the vendor as well. So all of these things should be taken care very well.
Thank
This
you
is
very
what.
much, Mohammad Risa. Over to Mr. Moin.
Okay, I just want to add something. I think it's more a message to the management. Like big data is a science, so the benefits would be tangible and non-tangible, and you cannot directly link the ROI to it. So the benefit will come in long term and short term, and to calculate the ROI out of big data, it's a complex task because the amount the interpretation that you are using can be beneficial and it cannot be made tangible that this is how it has benefited or it's returned the investment. So they should be bear patiently. Second, it's ever changing. It's not a constant thing that what we have made initially it would remain same. It's constantly changing, and you have to constantly engage, get engaged, and it's a dynamic kind of a thing. It's not static at all. So it would dynamically always there should be work going on and on and on it, and people should there should be a team dedicated should would work on and on and bring results. So it's not one time that you place in a make a structure and big data and it's going to stay there. It's not a static thing. It's a dynamic thing and it's ever going. And the results, some can be identified, some need to be explained what the results are, and awareness should be maintained. So this is my message.
Thank you. G. Mr. Hafeez.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of things that I would like to add, and one of thing is in especially data and analytics. I think uh, someone need to begin with the end in mind. This is very important because the end results should be very much clear among all stakeholders, including IT and business. I think there are sometimes lags, so that whatever you do at the end you will find it of no use. And sometimes I have experienced it that you work on a dashboard like 4 or 5 months and at the end no one is using it. So I think the clarity is very much important. And like I said, I think conduct and in order to achieve the desired results, it's good to conduct experiments, right? You need to do some pilots to test new data analytics initiative before going to the full scale, because this will minimize the risks and also it will help to validate the effectiveness of analytics, right? And yes, we need to be agile. Don't forget, it's always a teamwork, right? You can not work in isolation, especially working in data science. And the most important part, I think, is to formalize it. We are not, we as organizations are not very much good in this. Like you asked from me, data governance, right? So this discussion is most of the time is limited to the steering committee meetings, right? But what is happening afterwards? Are you setting it up? Are you placing people in, right? For example, who is looking into the governance? I think formalizing it is very much important. Whenever even you are getting a request, right? It should not be, I believe, not by call, not by email only, right? There should be a formal procedure. If you will be able
Thank
to
you.
achieve, I think
Thank you, Mr. Hafeez. The time is up. And while we are discussing big data, we also need to also keep the emphasis on time. You start on time and end on time. And this
all
is
right.
what we are doing. We are dot and spot on. So the first thing comes first. And thank you very much, all of you, for giving your time on a Friday morning, coming up and sparing time for people to learn about big data. And if these guys have any questions, they can always send it to info@sigbl.com, and we will try and help you out as much as we can. With this, we conclude our session. Thank you very much once again, and I hope audience have enjoyed it. And it's very much there on YouTube, Facebook, and other mediums. You can always review, see it, and then there are other live sessions that are going on. So just stay tuned and take advantage of the situation because all the top industry experts are talking about different and various subjects. Thank you and all the very best. Assalamu
Thank you.
alaikum.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Assalamu
Stay
alaikum.
safe. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.